Okay, today we're going to look at functions. Functions are self-contained chunks of code to perform a specific task, as the documentation says here. What does that mean exactly? Well, let me bring up a text window or text editor. Someday, I'm actually going to be good at Macs. Okay. Um, some of you, if you heard this example, I pretty well use the same one. I guess I could use a different example. Um, now I use my morning routine. So I got a morning routine. So Monday, I of course get up, use the restroom. I then brush my teeth, shave, shower, dress. Tuesday, use the restroom, brush teeth, shave, shower, dress. These are set steps that I perform every morning, not even really thinking about them. Weekends varies. Instead of doing that, what I'll do is I'll take these and I'll put them into a separate procedure, a separate method, a separate set of steps. So this is a separate place where I'm putting the steps at. Now, come Monday, I'm just going to call my morning routine. Come Tuesday, I'm just going to call my morning routine. Now, when we had those in separate, for each separate day, all those steps listed out, if for some reason I decided instead of flossing at night, I'm start flossing in the morning, then I would have to change it in all those locations. Possibly I'd miss one of them. I did that the other day in a program. I had repeated code and I hadn't put into a function or method or anything. And I changed one of them but didn't change the other one. Very common mistake. If you have it in a separate location, then if I decide that I'm going to floss my teeth, I have changed it in one place, and then every place that calls my morning routine now sees the change. So that's one benefit of it is to reduce duplicated code. Another benefit is if you call it, and this is kind of demonstrating the same example. If you call it multiple times, then you just call the routine. You don't have to keep retyping the code. And last piece is code reuse, where we can take this and put it into and we'll look at this, separate location where you can then use it in any app you develop. So those are the powers of the function. Okay. Here's a general procedure to define a function. You have func, func. It's all lowercase. Then you give it some kind of name. right here. It has limitations to it. You can't have spaces in there. You can't start with a number. Kind of the same criteria we've been following with variables. This right here is going to be what we're going to pass in. I'm just going to generally call them parameters. Depending upon if you're receiving it or sending it, some languages will call them arguments and function and parameters. I'm just going to just generally refer to it as parameters always. You see this: to use a function, you call that function with its name, pass it its input values known as arguments that match the type of the function's parameters. So when you got it defined here, it's a parameter. What down here, it's an argument. Again, not a big deal. But this is what I'm passing in. Now, you have that inside parentheses, and then you have, if I make that bigger. If you can, I don't know how to do it. That's the command and a plus. Okay. Now this refers to what's returned. So perhaps you're returning something. You're calculating something and returning it. Then you have whatever code inside, and then you return a variable or a number. In this case, we return greeting. The data type of the whatever you're returning here has to match the definition here. Okay, so let's take a look at a simple example I created this morning, just so we see how to incorporate it. And then we'll do a more interesting one. Okay. Down here, I declared a real exciting function. I called it return number. And I said you're going to pass in integer. And so we called num. And it's going to return an integer. So all I did was immediately return the number that was passed in. So nothing exciting on that. And while I'm down here, let me go ahead and cover this next one. I got a function called squared. And it kind of evolved as I was playing a little bit. I'm passing in a double. I'm going to return a double. And then I calculate the square root of num and then a power 3 squared. Now when you call those, I haven't seen that over here. Let me cover it first. When you call it, you put the function name. You see how they got greet there? That matches the greet here. And then you're passing in, this is kind of different than other languages. You're passing in the name of your parameter, in this case, person, colon, and then the actual value. Now, where that Anna is, you could put in a variable. That's how you call it. Now, over here, let me see, I declared a variable called sum, it's an integer. I declared a variable called num2, it's double. Sum is equal to 5, so I just hard-coded a value. And then I called return number, passing that in as a parameter. And remember that function just returned the value directly, so it didn't do anything. So then it assigns it back to sum. So sum's 5. And then it prints out the result here. Well, our next one is 7.3, and I'm passing that in the num, and then it'll return the value, whatever it's doing, to num2, and then I print it. This one is doing a little more. It finds the square root of whatever number's passed in, and it adds 3 squared, or 9. So it adds 9. Okay. You can have functions without parameters. You still need the parentheses there, and that's true in I think every programming language I know of. They call them different things. Some call them functions, some call them methods, some call them classes, procedures, subroutines, modules. So there's a bunch of different names for them. Now, some of them have specific names, like when you're talking about a method, that's typically referring to a class, object-oriented programming, but not necessarily. Again, lots of languages. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, well, how many languages are there? There might be a bad word in here, so if offensive language offends you, then avert your eyes. Let's see. Seems like one of these was named after a curse word or something. But you see, these are different languages. Some of them more popular than others. If your goal is to learn every programming language, good old Mad. If your goal is to learn every programming language, you're gonna be doing it a while. Some of these I've never. Most of them I've never done anything with. Program Delphi. D-base, boy, that's an old one. I programmed in that. Guess that's all in D's. Cold Fusion I programmed in. COBOL I programmed in. C, C++, C++, C Sharp, Bean Shell. Java-like scripting language, runs in Java runtime environment, uses variation in Java syntax. Usually they provide a website, beanshell.org. Lightweight scripting for Java. Never have used Bean Shell. Don't even know what it's about. Anyway. Let's see. I need to download Google Chrome. I'm just not used to this. Swift documentation. There it is. Right in front of me. Language guide. Okay. Just back where we were. I won't go. I won't go to any other sites and disrupt that. But anyway, different names, same idea. You can have multiple parameters, which is what we're getting ready to do. So you got person, string, and then comma, and then already greeted Boolean. So you're passing in 2 parameters here. Well, let's get started. And we're going to write one to calculate the distance. Distance formula, d is equal square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So, function, distance, maybe you want to call it something a little bit, calc, distance formula. Now I'll be passing in x1, which will be an integer, comma, I'll be passing x2, which will be x2, y1, which is going to be an integer. I'll be passing in x2, which is going to be an integer. Actually, these could be doubles. Nothing saying they have to be integers. So, okay, let's try it again. Double, y1, double, x2, double, y2, double, and then I'm return a double. Beginning brace, closing brace. Now, by the way, if you're saying you're returning something, that's what this is saying. It's expecting you to have a return statement. So that's what that's indicating to us. Now, our previous examples here just returned a single number. So we didn't need anything complex. Down here, I'm going to declare x1, y1, x2, y2 all to be doubles. Right, I got those declared. I wake up here a minute. Distance to be a double. There we go. That's better. We're going to eventually return distance. Now we're going to calculate it. Distance is equal to square root, beginning parentheses. This is the hardest part, probably, making sure your parentheses are correct. And let's see. I guess I want to do a POW. x2 minus x1, comma 2 for squaring it, plus POW y2 minus y1, comma 2 for squared it. Okay, so as I create this function, the idea would be is if I get it working, I spend the time on it. And this is a pretty simple one. Watch me not get it working. This is a pretty simple one, so it doesn't really show the power of it. But the idea is I spend a lot of time getting a function working. If I put that into a place where everybody can share the code, then they can bring that code into their programs and not have to recreate that each time. So not everybody has to write the formula for finding the distance. I've programmed it one time. I teach you how to import it, and then you can use it from then on out. Grab a drink here. Grab another pop too. Especially tired this morning. Got my COVID shot yesterday and just dragging a little bit today, which they said you'd probably be tired. Normally, I'm kind of tired anyway, because I don't like getting up in the morning, but doubly tired today. Okay, so let's come up here and we're going to call this and see how to use it. Now, I'm not going to recreate this entire form because it takes me too long to get my silly button to work. Okay. Now, let me think. I got the wrong one. I had a text field ending number. Well, I want a text field for X1. And I'll call this X1. And then I'm going to have a text field for Y1. Might make more sense to have those right beside each other, but we'll go with this. Y1. I'll have a text field X2. Text X2. And text field Y2. And text sign Y2. We'll have our answer, and that's fine there. I don't need answer 2. And let me put an S before all these to indicate strings. Okay, so come up to our state table here, and SX1 equals to that, and state var SY1 equals to that, state var SX2 is equal to that, state var SY2 equals that. Okay, I don't think I need answer 2. There we go. What's wrong here? Text field, text SY2, SY2. Oh, it's uppercase T. Okay, so it's going to make the association there. Just like here, where I bring in the value and unwrap it, I have to do that. So I'm going to have variable X1, Y1, X2, Y2. They're all going to be integer. X or integer. I think I said double, didn't I? Down below. So X1 is going to equal to double. And try to remember if we need a $sign on this. SX1 exclamation. Let's see if that works. No $sign. Okay. So that's going to bring in the X1 that's on the form. Y1 is going to equal to double SX1 SY1. Let's try that again. Exclamation, unwrap it. X2 is going to equal to double SX2, unwrap it. Y2 is equal to double. And SY2, unwrap it. And I need another variable called distance. Okay, so now I'm going to call distance, or calculate distance. I call calculate distance formula. Okay. Now, when I go ahead and do a tab for code completion on it, this is what it gives me. The doubles you see here, that's where you put your values in or variables. So here I'm going to put in an x1. Boy, that's confusing. X1 is x1. Let me change those. P. There we go. Now I have to think about which one I need to change. I guess this one. So what's the error anyway? Doesn't say. This one, I'll call PY1. And this one, PX2, PY2. Did I just... Oh, boy, I can't spell. Distance. That's right now. Okay, so I'm going to calculate distance, and I'm going to call this function, and I'll pass in those 4 parameters. Seems weird, but this x1 right here is the name of the parameter, the argument, depending upon whether you're receiving or sending. And then px1, py1, px2, and py2 are the values I'm passing in. Now I need to write the value out. So S answer distance. There we go. Delete all that. And let me save this. And I could resume that and get it hopefully working. It's a little bit flaky in terms of the redrawing. Okay. Add's probably the wrong name for that. Find distance. Now run it. Okay, so up here, I'm going to put in 4. And then 2, 3, and 1. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1. I should get 1 plus 1, which is 2. Square root of 2 is 1.4, I think, something like that. I don't know. Let's click find distance. 1.414. So that shows you that we got our distance formula working. Now, the project, I'm going to show more examples, but just to talk about what I'm going to assign, is I want you to find, do the same thing, pass in 2 points. If you're not very good with math, that's what I just did. The x1, y1, x2, y2, those are 2 points. Should be the same code. And then calculate, find the slope. Slope, which is represented by little m, is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. In addition on that, I want you to check for x2 equaling x1. Because if they're equal to each other, then you're going to have division by 0. So if you're going to have division by 0 because they're equal to each other, then you should write something. This is an if-else type setup. I want you to write something to the box indicating division by 0. Don't let it blow up. in other words. Okay. What else could I program? That's a quadratic formula. Let's see if there's anything else exciting here I want to mention. My goal is not to make you expert at Swift. We're developing apps, so it seems like I'm not covering everything here. Then that's the reason why. Now here's something unique. You got this in Python, but it's also in Swift. Functions with multiple return values. I'm going to be programming the quadratic formula, and that's why I want to show this. With the quadratic formula, it's got two answers. So how you do it is you see here with a little dash and then a greater than, or arrow. We have two. So we're going to return integer for min, integer for max. The return statement actually looks like this with parentheses around them. And down here, looking for where they called it, there's min max. See, they're calling min max. So they're calling this right here. And then it's returning two values. When we return two values, there we go. When we return two values, it puts it in the bounds, and that can be whatever name you want. And then you do bounds dot to refer to the actual value. So let's take a look at that. See how to do the quadratic formula. By the way, you don't have to be a math genius in this class. I assume you have no math knowledge. That is why I gave you the entire formula. This is exactly how you program it in. Okay. Hopefully at some point in time maybe you've used the quadratic formula. Let me come down here and destroy my second numerator-denominator example. Okay, I'm going to need A. So, A, text under S underscore A. Text field B. Text $S underscore B. Text field C. Text colon $S underscore C. Hold on. Mass infusions of caffeine today. Okay, so I'm going to have S underscore A, S underscore B, state for S underscore C equals blank, and I'll have my second answer, except for it's got two answers. And I'm going to call this X1 or S underscore X1. Let me just say answer 1, since I got an SX1 up above. And state var S underscore answer 2, like that. Okay, so they don't have to be integers, so I'm going to do var a, b, c, and then my answer 1, answer 2 are going to be doubles. And a is going to equal to double s underscore a, unwrap it. B is going to equal double s underscore b, unwrap it. C is equal to double s underscore c, unwrap it. I guess I haven't declared my created my function yet. Okay, so function calculate quadratic formula. And we'll be passing in a double. Let me do p a for parameter of a. Double pa pb double pc double. Now when I return this, remember we have to give it a name. They had min and max here. What do I want? Answer 1 double, answer 2 double. This what I forgot. They say to put an exclamation there. Think. No question mark. Where to see the exclamation? There we go. And that's it. Okay. So then I got PA, PB, and PC already here. So answer 1 is going to equal to negative B. So negative 1 times PB. And negative B, for answer 1, answer 2, double. Okay, so negative B plus, I guess, and then square root pow b squared, so b pb comma 2, that's my b squared, minus 4ac, so 4 times a times c, close parentheses, another close parentheses, except for I don't have a beginning. Should be a beginning here because you need parentheses around all the top part. And then divided by, parentheses around the bottom, 2 times a. Okay, so answer 2 is going to be almost the exact same code. I hate how Control V doesn't work. I click and paste. Why can't it be just like Windows? Okay, now my return. Return answer 1, answer 2. Helps if I actually calculate answer 2, so let's put answer 2 there. Something's messed up. I got my brace somehow screwed up. There we go. So I brought in A, B, and C. And I'm going to do a lit here. Remember, a lit defines a constant. Lit bounds. So lit bounds equals, and we're calling it, so calculate quadratic formula. And we'll be passing in A, B, C. And now I need to write those back out. So S underscore answer 1 equals to slash in parentheses bounds dot what do I call the first one? Answer 1. S underscore answer 2 is equal to slash bounds dot answer 2. Get rid of these. Got some issue. Must be unwrapped to refer to train the let me use exclamation. Thought I did. Maybe I clicked outside of it. Sometimes I don't know when those exclamations should be there. It'll tell you. Some other issue. What is this? Answer was never used. Did I never use it? I guess not. Okay, I didn't need that. Why do I got a colon there? Oh, because it wrapped. There you go. So let's run this now. Of course, I could resume here to build it. Okay, ABC. Simplified fraction is not right. I want to solve the quadratic. Let's see, 1, -5, 6 should work. 1, -5, and 6. And didn't like something. Do I even have a blank there to put it back into? That's nice. I'd signed it to the state variable. I just didn't create a text field to return it to. Okay, well, let's try that again. I'll put them up above. Find distance. It worked perfect. Just didn't return anything. Now I assumed it worked perfect. Text field answer 1 text underscore S underscore answer 1 text field answer 2 That first part is just freeform documentation, so whatever you want to put on. Did I click it? I don't know if I did or not. Let's try it again. There, build failed. I got something wrong. Extra argument. How did I screw that one up? I put these in. Text colon underscore. Well, let me take them back out. Build succeeded. Okay, that's got me puzzled. What in the world? I figured I'd screwed something else up. Text field, answer 1. It doesn't matter what's here. That's a documentation. Comma, text, colon, $S underscore answer 1. Build failed. Maybe I'm using that somewhere else. That's what. If you got to declare it twice, and that'll cause issues. I don't think I have an answer, but maybe I do. Extra argument. Unless I've exceeded the amount that can be in a vertical stack. That could be. Okay, let me put another V stack here. Build succeeded. I did. I exceeded number of components can be in a vertical stack. That's interesting. Okay, 1, -5, and 6. And that's what I should get is 2 and 3. Okay, I was getting worried there because I did not see an error. I wonder how many items you can put in a vertical stack then. mind you, you don't want to go too insane about it. You want to group them together, appropriately. Distance, all these do not go with the quadratic formula, just from a design standpoint. So, okay, so the project for this week is going to be to write an app that calculates slope based upon that. Now that's the first one. The second one is I want you to create an app that calls a formula to calculate a physics. Calls a formula. It calls a function that calculates a physics formula. You can use a previous physics formula if you got one that you've used. For example, if I'm trying to calculate force equals mass times acceleration, I would call the function and make it a function. I know it's not very much in the function, but I want you to get used to using functions. Call a function that you pass the parameters in, mass and acceleration in my example, and then it'll return force. And then once it's returned, you can assign that to a text field. But two apps. Now next week, I will not be here during class. I'm gonna go ahead and record the lecture for this either tomorrow or Saturday and put it out there. My oldest is getting married, so I'll be traveling with part of my family. Not all the family can go out from this area, so some are staying back behind. But anyway, won't be in class, so I'll see you in 2 weeks.